Now, Kenya is ranked position 1 in terms of the overall COVID-19 or coronavirus risk with 27 points, followed by Ghana 24, Egypt 23. Owing to some of the measures yesterday, of course, as outlined by the President of Tanzania, that is John Pombe Magufuli, that Tanzania should go about their businesses. It's normal. God will see us through. And it was more or less a concerning point for the World Health Organization, yet they have active cases in Tanzania. It means then that if Tanzania finally submerges in terms of the virus, then hitting home or further cases in Kenya will be inevitable.
Yes.
So where's the coordinated East African response here? Because we seem to be having a breakpoint in terms of what Kenya and Uganda are offering and what Tanzania is offering.
If your history serves you well, you realize that in the East African community, Tanzania has always been that child who belongs to the headmaster, who just does his things the way he wants them to do it, and he doesn't bother about what his neighbors think about. You know the fight that we have been having with Tanzania, confiscating everything that goes across the border, and Magufuli not wanting to attend to other meetings for the East African community. And I was not shocked. You know, what Magufuli is trying to tell us is that, hey, you can go to hell, and I'll be playing music as you go to hell. But then it will end in premium tears. I can promise you that. Remember that we have all said that we need divine intervention, but then we don't need divine intervention foolishly. Remember, when if you were keen during the national prayers at State House, remember that the clergy walked in and washed their hands first.
Despite being the man of God.
Despite being the man of God. And even when the president walked in, he had to sanitize. Of course, his was very casual. It was just a sign that, hey, we are doing this. So what I'm trying to say is that whereas we say that we are looking for divine intervention, and whereas if you look at the holy books, they all try to tell you that the high man above cannot be able to give you what you cannot be able to contain. But we should not be foolishly and stupidly following and looking for divine intervention. We need to keep those measures. If Tanzania are really saying that, hey, we will be salvaged because of divine intervention, they should proceed and close down all their hospitals. Let them get a corona person and take him to State House. So sometimes as leaders, when we say about something, I mean, sit down and think about what you have just said and think whether in an event where you need to again look back at the same words, let's say 2 months down the line, you can be able to stand by that. Remember that we have a very porous border with our East African community neighbors. I was in Busia a couple of weeks ago, and we are walking across the border. And remember that this virus can not only be transmitted by people, it can also be transmitted in surfaces. I mean, a vehicle can come from across the border and have it transmitted. So I think we really need to reevaluate our relationship with our neighbors in these times of distress. Because at the end of the day, we have countries to manage. We have our citizens. Remember, our citizens rank first.
Okay.
Then the neighborhoodness and the foreign policy come second. So for Tanzanians' case, it will end in premium tears.